Hi, how are you, my younger brothers? I'm your elder brother, Kiran Roy. I've received this question from 3 to 4 guys actually. 3 to 4 guys asked me this question that Kiran bro, can you please make a video on the shit tests women use and how to pass those shit tests which they use. So my today's video is all about the shit tests Indian women use and how to pass those tests. So I'm going to describe each and every detail to the best of my psychological abilities. And if you've checked out my earlier videos, you guys must be well aware how I function. I like to get into the depth, and in my own trademark style, I try and bring out the truth in front of you. And this video is going to be no different. If you gain anything from this video, do consider giving a super thanks. The entire proceeds will go for the orphan kids of Chembur Children's Home. You can also book a 1:1 with me by DMing me in Instagram. My manager would be replying back. He will take the reins. After that, he will tell you what to do next. And you can 100%, by all means, I would highly recommend taking the Be Millionaire course in this English channel and Be Charismatic course in my Hindi channel. That is going to be next level content, which I won't be putting even in my regular YouTube videos, because those are going to be courses which will give you the actual picture, the real insights about each and every aspect pertaining to your life. And if you wish to give any direct benefit to me, then by all means, you can leave a 5-star rating for my guitar academy, which is Kiran Roy's Guitar Studio in Google. All that you have to do is just type Kiran Roy. Just on the top, my academy will show. Just go ahead, give a 5-star rating to show me your love for me. If you've loved my content, if you've liked my content, if my content has helped or aided you in any which ways, if you give me that review, instantly I'll understand that you have given me that thumbs up sign, that dude, I did benefit from you. So that will work on the same way. So you don't have to pay me a single rupee. Without paying a single rupee, you can show me your acknowledgement that you did gain from my content. So that is how things are. So basically, what is a shit test? Shit test is a test which a girl or a woman subconsciously uses to test your emotional intelligence, to test your complete aura as a whole, whether you possess the strengths which are required of a man. So whether you are emotionally strong, whether you have a mind of your own, or you're just a plain needy simp, that's their way of determining the alpha from the simps. So it's like ingrained in their system actually, because as I had explained you, during our forefathers' times, during the primitive ages, there used to be one strong male. So all of them would choose that strongest male of the tribe or the group, so that they could have a higher, so that their offsprings could have a higher chances of surviving, because ultimately it all boiled down to surviving. So now it has evolved to such an extent that by default, even if they don't want to, even if they don't want to partake in such an activity like a shit test, all of them are designed that subconsciously they'll be playing those tests, they'll be indulging in those tests, they'll be asking those questions, which will qualify under the bracket of shit tests. So shit tests are basically nothing but a way of making them come to know whether they are making the right decision by choosing you, basically. So that's their subconscious way of functioning. Nobody prepares the questions of a shit test, because all these questions which constitutes the part of a shit test, which I'll be explaining in my next point, all of these questions, they did not have to study, they did not have to go through any textbook to prepare the question set that I'll ask him these questions. Nobody has to study or to, like, they don't have to memorize the questions. They can directly just go there. I mean, subconsciously they'll be asking you those questions, because that's just their way of removing the weak person. Because as I said, as I gave you the analogy, that they always wanted to mate with the strongest person so that they get stronger offsprings, basically. So that same trait has kept on going and it has reached this modern era also, that unknowingly they'll indulge in shit test to have a better shot at getting the best bang for their buck, basically. That's just their way of filtering out the weak people from the strong ones. So their ultimate goal is, as I said, copulation, so that their offsprings they come out stronger, so that they can take ahead the human race. These things they personally don't want, but that's a part of the evolution process, basically. So that's why I use the word subconsciously. They don't personally consciously use, as I said, they don't memorize these words. It's a part of their subconscious thing. So the language may differ. The language of those shit tests may differ, but the idea is always going to remain the same. So, what are the questions that I'll be explaining you now? So, I hope you have understood up till here that what is a shit test and why they use it. I answered both of them. So, basically, if you ask me why do they do it, why do they indulge in shit tests? It all boils down to 3 points. First point is to determine whether you are a weak person, as simple as that. Second, to know whether you are an alpha with options or you are a simp who does the chasing, who has no options at all. That is the second point. And the third point is to feel your energy. Are you emotionally reactive or are you emotionally composed? This is a very important factor why they do this shit test, because love, romance, copulation, it's not only about like copulating, it's also about spending a considerable time together. Suppose if you decide to get married in the future, like when you guys are together, you guys are seeing each other say 24 hours a day, in certain cases yes 24 hours also. So that time it is your emotional maturity, your emotional stability, which is going to determine. So that's why this is also their way of finding whether you are emotionally reactive or you're emotionally composed. So if you're emotionally reactive, you know what to expect. And if you're emotionally composed, then also you know what to expect. So you now get a drift of what are the, I mean, why they do that. It's completely basically to filter out the weak, emotionally unstable person out of their lives. It's just to weed out the good ones from the bad ones, basically. Not the bad ones, but the weak ones, I would say, because as I said, it all started out from the start of our human race, from our primitive humans, you can say, where they used to fight, where they used to compete, I would say, not fight, they used to compete amongst each other to get the strongest male, as simple as that. So what are the common shit tests which Indian women indulge in? List is endless, but I'll give you a few examples. First one is, you're like a brother to me. How many of you have heard this? You are like a brother to me. I've just seen you as a brother. That's her way of checking out your reaction, basically. That's just her way of checking out whether you have any feelings or not for her. Because your reaction will, suppose if you indeed see her as a sister, so your reaction is going to be like nothing. Yeah, I'm like a brother to you. That's right. But suppose if you've been harboring feelings for her throughout your life or throughout the duration that you know her, then definitely your reaction is going to change. Which guy in the right frame would want to be labeled as a brother? So suppose if you had the hots for her, then definitely if she says that, hey, I always looked at you like a brother, you are going to, your expression is going to change, though you don't, even if you might not have the guts to say, hey, but I have different feelings for you. Even if you don't have the guts to say that aloud, but still your expression will say it all. Suppose if you become quiet, you will say, yeah. There are many ways they can determine. So this is a classic case of it. My next point is delayed replies or scene zoning. So basically, the point explains it in itself. So basically, they will purposely delay the replies. Suppose you have texted her something, and there are certain things. I mean, it doesn't apply for each and every text. For example, like if it's just a normal thing that you have asked her, then she might reply instantly. But suppose if there are certain things, little bit important thing, purposely she will hold the reply. because she very well knows that you would be completely impatient to get that reply. So as I said, if she's just if he's asking just a normal question like, hey, how are you, how was your day, then they might answer instantly. But suppose if it was something more important, then that's the time when subconsciously and purposely, as in it happens purposely only, as in it's a subconscious thing basically. So though she has seen it, purposely she won't reply, is what I mean by saying. So it all happens like on a subconscious level basically, as in she did not she did not think, as in she did not go through any book, or she did not like make a decision that, hey, I'm not going to reply. It doesn't happen that way. It's just a thing which is embedded in their mind. So suppose she finds that question which deserves a delay, then automatically she won't reply purposely to see how you react. Because a guy with zero emotional intelligence, he will double text, he will triple text, and that is where that guy loses the plot completely. Because that gives the impression in the girl's mind that this guy is a needy fellow. He has zero emotional intelligence. He's like completely emotionally reactive. He's not emotionally composed. Because any guy who is emotionally composed will ask one question, and he will wait patiently for that girl to reply. Because that's what I meant by saying scene zoning, that that guy can see that the girl has seen it. So that's what I meant by calling it scene zoning. So that guy can see that the lady has seen his message. But still, if she has decided to be silent, to remain silent, and if she's not responding, then if that guy waits patiently for that lady to reply, then that guy can score good points when it comes to her shit test. He may pass that shit test. But sadly, majority of all Indian males, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. All the Indian males, they have zero emotional intelligence. Majority pass the shit test by double texting, by triple texting, and like asking all sorts of questions. Hey, are you there? What happened? Why are you not replying? All these sorts of texts will go. They will like completely fill the inbox of that lady with such texts. What happened? Like they screw their case with their own hands. So this is one classic case: scene zoning and delayed replies. So if you ask me what should be the ideal thing to do to pass that test, answer is as simple. I mean, it's absolutely like the most easiest answer of them all. You have to be patient, you have to be emotionally composed, as I had said in the beginning. They see whether you're emotionally reactive or emotionally composed. If you're emotionally reactive, like you're double texting, triple texting, that gives that impression that you are emotionally not mature. You don't have that patience, you don't have that mental composure. Basically, you need to have that emotional composure, which is clearly lacking in this case. So what's the outcome? You fail that shit test. And again, I repeat, that happens on a subconscious level. She's not running any exam like we have exams in our colleges, right? There you know that it's an exam. But in that case, in that college exam, that invigilator of yours, that college teacher of yours, they know that you are giving that exam. They know that they are officially asking you the questions which you have to answer in order for you to pass that exam. But in this particular shit test, this happens on a subconscious level. These girls, they don't plan it. It happens. It just happens because, as I said, it's embedded in their system to filter out the weak ones from the strong ones. And by weak and strong, I don't mean only the physical aspect. It is more so the emotional and mental aspect. If you ask me what the shit tests are designed for, it is designed to filter out the weak minded and emotionally weak men from the emotionally composed men. You're getting a clear picture. Hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say. So here's another brutal shit test which almost all girls use. They compare you with other men. This is one shit test which is actually shit, because this is one test which nobody can take, and I for sure I could never take that test. Though I was aware when that happened to me, because nobody can escape that, right? It must have happened to each one of you, that your girl is comparing you with another guy. So that is one test which I would willingly love to fail, because I would never want to pass that test by remaining composed or anything. But it's the girls basically who shouldn't be indulging in this sort of a shit test, because they unknowingly compare you to other men. Because I had one girlfriend, I'll give you a real life example. I was in a relationship with one girl when I was in my 20s. She had two sisters, and both the sisters were married. So whenever we used to meet, she used to compare me with her brother-in-laws, basically the sisters' husbands. She would always compare me that he has a better car than you, he has a better physique than you, he has better height than you, he has better color than you, better complexion than you. In every aspect, she would always compare me with her sisters' husbands, always. And you know the answer. I came across as emotionally reactive. I came across as emotionally unstable. I lost that test. And as I said, I would be happy to lose that test, because I can never compare. I can never stand getting compared to another man. Never ever. I'll gladly fail that test. I would gladly prefer to fail that test. But since you asked me a question, I'm giving you the answer that this also qualifies under one of their shit tests, which everybody fails, which everybody should fail rather, because it's not a good idea to remain composed when she's gladly comparing you to some other man. I don't think any man worth his salt should tolerate this. So I have always failed this test, and I will continue failing this test. So if you ask me, this also comes down under the list of a shit test. But in this case, I would recommend you don't need to pass this test. You can gladly accept defeat by giving it straight back to her. Now, my next point is a classic case: sudden mood swings to check out your reaction. I have actually personally, all these points which I'm saying are from a personal example which I've seen with my girlfriends basically. So I had this girlfriend who would actually purposely fake her mood swings. I mean, I've seen this with many girls, but first time when I came, because this is not something which everybody does, apparently. This is something which a specialized few women, I would say specialized, because this is a craft, right? That you, I mean, mood swings, as it is, they have like lots of mood swings. But I've actually been in a relationship with a girl who would actually fake her mood swings. That was a new thing which I personally saw. Even I was amazed that, man, I know that by default you have so many mood swings. What's the need for you to fake it? That's my point. That as it is, you're going to have mood swings. By default, nature has made you that way. I'm aware that you're going to have mood swings. But what's the need for you to fake it? So ultimately, I came to know that it's their shit test basically. That's the way they gauge whether you will be helping her or you won't be helping her. And same thing happened in this such case also, that she compared me with another guy, with an ex of hers. So I was in another relationship with another girl. This is another case which I'm saying. So she had this, her periods were going on. So she had this wild mood swings episodes, and she was having stomach ache. So I asked her, tell me, what should I do to make you feel better? Her stomach was aching very badly actually, and that she was not faking it. That was the actually, it was genuine. So I was at, I mean, I had zero idea what I should do. So she said, you don't have this much idea also, stupid. I said, what? My ex would always put a hot water bag on my belly whenever I used to have. So she compared me. So that was yet another shit test now. And no points for guessing what was the outcome. I failed that test miserably. Because who asked you to tell me what your ex used to do? I don't have any idea. You should guide me. And that I was very young that time. After that, I very well know how to. After that, I came to know how I should handle such a situation if she's having stomach ache. There are many ways. But that time I was not aware, and she again compared me that my ex-boyfriend used to do it that way. So that was like the last moment that I spent with her. I immediately broke up because nobody can just come and tell me what their ex did with them, man. I can never tolerate that. I get wild in anger whenever anybody says that. Majority of my breakups happened because of that comparison thing. So in a shit test, in this particular point, what I mean by saying that they fake their mood swings, many a times they might be in a good mood. Okay, so this is one important thing which I have seen them indulging in. They might be in a good mood, but suddenly their mood will take a turn for the worse. They will behave erratically. But in this particular case, which I'm mentioning, it's not that natural mood swing which we guys are aware of. This is something extra. So, this extra is because she's faking that mood swing to get a reaction from you, to see how you are reacting. Suppose if you are reacting in a calm and composed fashion, then that's a good sign for them. But in my particular case, again, to be very frank, this is one test in which I have been a total failure. Overall, if you check out my mark sheet, overall, though now I have no intention of being in a relationship with anybody. But when I was indeed in a relationship, I that was the test. In fact, I was a total failure. I mean, I've been a failure in academics, and the shit tests of women are no different. I've been a total failure, a total loss when it comes to shit tests, because even when they used to like indulge in those fake mood swings, I would instantly like give it back, because I can take their shit only up to a certain extent, man. Beyond that, I cannot take. That is how I'm wired. I cannot take. I'm not a good. I can never make a good husband. That's the reason why I'm divorced. I cannot bend. I cannot simp around for them. I cannot like put myself down, put my head down. I can never bow my head. I can always bow my head in respect for you guys, for whoever are good to me. But if somebody is behaving badly with me in the name of mood swings, I cannot take their shit, even if I try to. On many instances, I told myself that, hey, dude, why do you react so badly every time they do that? You should have mental composure. I always tell that. I say, yes, today I'll have mental composure. 5 minutes, I will adjust. 10 minutes, I will adjust. 11th minute, I will give it back. I will break up, never to go back again. That is how I operate. Unfortunately, I'm not saying that is how you should behave, but that is how I am. I cannot change myself. So that's why I can safely say I am not made for relationships or indulging in their shit tests and whatever tests. But since I was asked a question, and since I have studied that, I'm giving you the report of whatever I'm giving you, the complete analysis of whatever I have researched. But that has never been my strongest point. Passing this shit test have never been my strongest has been my strongest thing. I have always failed miserably in all of their tests. Now the next most common test which I have seen personally, because whatever I'm saying are all from personal experience, as I told you. So she will say, hey, you're so nice after flirting. And that is what makes my boil, which makes my blood boil, because I have always been called, you're so annoying, you're so bad, you're so wicked, you're so mean. These are the words which sounds like music to my ears. These are the words I wait to hear. But whenever a girl, they would call me, hey, you are so nice, you are too nice. Whenever she would say that, she would look at my reaction, and as usual, my reaction would be very bad, and I would happily fail that shit test. Even in the future, if anybody calls me, even if she plays that shit test game with me by calling me, hey, you're so nice, you're so good, if anybody says that, I would like voluntarily want to fail that shit test. I don't want any victory in that shit test. I'll gladly fail that, but I cannot be called a nice guy. I would never. But girls used to do that with me. They would call me purposely, you are a nice guy. So that is one shit test I again used to fail. In fact, I would fail all of the shit tests. I never passed any of the shit tests, except maybe that mental composure thing, or one or two. But overall, if you check out my report card, it will be like 1 out of 10. One or two tests I might have passed, but overall 80% failure. So I failed by like 20 marks I would get out of 100. So now coming to the final segment of this video, how to pass those shit tests. So though I'm a guy who has failed those shit tests, though I know the answers, because even in college, as I told you in my Hindi channel, that I was a class topper. In engineering also, I was intelligent. I have no qualms in admitting. I was always intelligent and I was always having a strong brain, a strong memory, I would say, not brain, strong memory. I could instantly recollect whatever I had seen. So I could easily pass the engineering, but purposely I used to flunk. I used to write less than passing marks purposely, so that, because I was aware that the moment I pass out, my father will put me in his business. But I wanted to pursue only music. So the day I pass out, the day I become an engineer, my father, that would be the end of my music career basically. My father will put me in his business. So purposely I used to fail that test. So same way, even here, I would purposely fail the test. I mean, not purposely, because that is how I'm wired. I'm not built to pass those tests. I'm not wired to pass those tests. But if you ask me, since I have to give an answer, if you ask me, what should be the points by which you can pass those tests? So if that is the case, then the first point is you have to be emotionally more composed. You shouldn't give it back instantly the way I used to give, because that has never been my strongest point with girls. Though I'm a very emotionally composed, calm and composed guy, as you guys know, but when it came to women and girls, I was never that, never ever in my life. Right from my first date, when I had gone, when I was in school, I guess 13 years. I was 13 years when I went for my first date. So right from that day till today, I could never like maintain calm and composure when it comes to women. I am a guitar teacher. My students, they like, they like, they are amazed by the mental composure that I have. They always tell me that, sir, how can you maintain so much calmness? I'm making hundreds of mistakes, but patiently you are just listening and teaching me with a smile. You are guiding me. I'm not getting angry. In my school and college, even if I ask the same question 2 times, my teachers get so angry. But here I'm asking you 100 times. You are so calm and composed. How is that the case? So irony is that in my every aspect of life, I am very calm and composed. But when it comes to women and girls, by default, I can never be calm and composed. I give it back. So the answer is exactly the opposite of what I behave. I am never calm and composed. But if you want to pass that shit test, you will have to be calm and composed. That's the first. My next point is flip the script, tease her back. So whenever she is indulging in these unprovoked shit tests, you must flip the script by teasing her back, by not looking guilty or sounding guilty or looking too eager to please. You don't need to be, you don't need to have that feeling of feeling the need to pass that test. You just have to be casual about it. You just have to play the game as if nothing matters to you, as if the outcome of the test does not matter to you. Suppose now that you are equipped to know that it's a shit test, so even if you're aware that it's a shit test, you shouldn't behave as if you're trying too hard to pass that test. You just have to play that game in a natural fashion. So how do you do that? Which is what I used to do. I used to tease her back, because I could easily see that subconsciously she's trying that shit test thing on me. So how do I get back? I used to turn the tide. I used to, instead of her testing me, I would completely put it back on her. And ultimately, the process is the ultimately it's me who used to do that testing on her. So ultimate idea is to flip the script. You do the teasing, you do the testing. Put that question on her. Whatever question she's putting on you, just mirror it back to her. That's the best thing which I used to do. I mean, that has always given me the best results. Now, the most important point: walk away if she disrespects you. Why I said this is the most important point? Because as per my knowledge, as per my experience, I've seen majority of the Indian boys and men, they fare very badly in this test, because whenever they are disrespected, they turn into a simp. They beg for their attention, they become needy, they display these neediness traits. They say sorry, they apologize, they over apologize, they say I will do whatever you say. common words, whatever I'm saying. These are the common words which even you might have said, you might have heard your friends saying that just give me one chance, I'll do whatever you say. Though that it's the girl who is doing that disrespecting, but the man will say, I'm sorry, baby, I will do whatever you say. Please take me back in your life. That's the biggest mistake which all Indian men do. And that is one thing which I have never done in my life. In fact, that's the reason why I have the highest number, though I have the highest number of chicks in my life, but at the same time also have the highest number of breakups. I must be the only guy who has both of these records. Like dating the maximum number of girls, at the same time breaking up also with the maximum number of girls. So like my breakup list is high. Even I'm a divorcee as well, as you guys must be aware of. I'm a divorced guy. So even one divorce and like hundreds of breakups. I wouldn't like to tell you the exact number. So I have the exact number because as you know, I have a sharp memory. I have a strong mind. I have strong observation skills, so I know the exact digit also. Digits, not digit, digits. I have the exact digits also in my mind. How many women I have been with, but including one divorce. So I am not made for this. I'm not made for this basically. I'm a completely like I might excel in every. I can even go to the moon. I can even reach the moon. I can even be an astronaut. I can do everything in this world, but I can never continue with one girl because it's sooner or later it's going to break up very badly. And that has been my story right throughout my life, not just now, throughout my life. Like I could never like gel with any one person. Girl, with boys I can gel very well. That's why you guys are so dear to me. I have a best friend. Like it's been like more than 35 years we are together. With boys, like men are my dear. That's why I make content only for my brothers, because I am a yaro ka yar, as they call it in Hindi. I am a friend. I am more of a friend, more of a brother than an authority figure. I am a musician, buddy. I am supposed to be dear to you guys. So with guys, give me a guy for the rest of my life, no problem. I can, with utmost love, friendliness, I can spend my life with them in friendship, but not with a girl. I cannot handle their tantrums. I cannot stand their thought process. I just cannot. And I'm not a guy who can sit calmly in a composed fashion and take their shit. I can never do that. That's why I said I'm the guy who always failed their shit tests. Always. I've never been their prime candidate who would go ahead. I can be a very good boyfriend, but I can never be a good husband. So gladly, I can say that I would fail all their, not purposely. Naturally, only I would fail their shit tests. I did not have to make any effort like I used to do in my college to fail my engineering exams. There I used to fail purposely. But in the girls' shit test, I would naturally fail without doing anything. I was a born failure when it comes to the shit tests of. So that's why if you ask me, always walk away the moment you're disrespected, because this is the biggest shit test women indulge in, because they will disrespect you. And if, as I said, majority of the Indian simps, they like accept that disrespect and they like beg them. But if you are a guy who has the balls, who has the courage to hold your head up high and to abuse her and to get the hell out of her life, then her respect will increase. She might say, get out, but from within, she will develop that strong interest in you that this man has self respect. And I would want to be with a guy who has a strong sense of self respect. So that is the idea. So even though you might end up in a breakup, but at least you will have your self respect intact, and she will, in due course, she will also start valuing you. But in my case, that is to happen. That's why I'm saying that it happens. But by that time, I have moved on. I would have moved on, and I would get their text after say 1 month, 30 days. Within 30 days only, they would text you. If you walk away with your head held up high, within 30 days they text you back. I've seen that in like majority of my cases. But by that time, when they want to come back again, I would tell them that I'm now already dating this so and so girl. I would even send my picture, see we are together. So I cannot go ahead with you. So that's the best thing to do. So my point, if you ask me, is always head your held up high. Always keep your head high. Never ever tolerate disrespect, because that is one of their biggest shit test. They will try to disrespect you, and they will try to disrespect you to see how you react. If you are taking that disrespect, you have lost that shit test. But if you cannot tolerate any dent in your self respect, that is the guy she would want to respect. So you get the drift. My next point is never ever try to explain yourself. That is another shit test. They will do things which will require you to explain yourself. But I never explained myself. So as I said, I did score on a few points, not all. As I said, 20 out of 100 I used to get. So this was that next 10 marks where I used to score, that they would expect that I will do all the explaining. I will over explain. I will be the one to like explain her the things basically. But I would never explain. I would just do it and that's it. No explanations given. Absolutely not. So that is another point. If you ask me what is the best way, never explain yourself. I would never explain myself. So uh, two or three things I would win. This part I would win, but again, overall percentage matters. So I would fail majority of the, as in I used to get 20 or max 30 out of 100. So overall, my results were like I used to fail the test. But this is one important point. Never ever explain yourself. Apart from that most important point, never ever tolerate disrespect. That was one point where I used to pass. So now I'm coming to the final point before I conclude my video. The last point is laugh off the bait. The best thing is, because I had seen this happening so many times with so many girls, that by the end of my dating career, I could like predict them. Like it became so common for me to check out their patterns that I could actually predict what would come next. So when it used to come, when I used to see that bait, I would just laugh it off. Man, please, let's focus on what we are doing. Forget that bait of yours. I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to fall into your trap. I would just laugh it off and I would just call it out. I would directly say, man, I've had enough of your shit test. So the best thing is just laugh it off. Just let her know that I know that it's your one of your numerous shit tests, but it's not going to work. So just laugh it off and give it back. So here again, I used to win. You can also win. So I've given you both the parameters, like how you can fail if you wish to fail, how you can pass if you wish to pass. More often than not, in my case, I would fail because it is not the test which I would want to pass. Because as I said, if somebody calls me a nice guy, that was never my forte. I would never want to be a nice guy for a girl. I can be a nice guy for a brother. I can be a nice guy for my children. But I don't want to be a nice guy for a girl. By default, that's the way I'm made. That's the way I'm wired. So purposely also you can say I would fail those shit tests because I know the answers. I very well know how to. That's why I'm making a video, right? I know the answers. I very well. It's very much like my engineering exams. I know the answers, but I don't want to pass. That's the as simple as that. So even in this video, I know the answers. I very well know how to get 100 out of 100, but I don't want to. Why should I? I'm a rock star, goddammit. I'm not a 9 to 5 office boy that I have to pass, that I have to ask, that I have to get my boss's validation, I have to get my girlfriend's validation, I have to get my wife's validation. No, dude, I'm a rock star. I don't need anybody's validation. I'm completely fine of my own. Only the people who are scared to be alone, they beg for others' attention, they beg for others' validation. Meanwhile, warriors, rock stars like me, we don't need. We absolutely don't need. So I would purposely or like by default also, if even if I lose the shit test, I'm completely fine with that. But I've given you the both the aspects, both the scenarios. You can easily win by the points which I gave you. You can even lose if you wish to. So the I've given you both the spectrums. I would lose. Choice is yours. I'll be back with my next video tomorrow. If you have any questions regarding the topics, you can definitely let me know. I will definitely make a video to address that. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Bharat Mata ki Jai.